In a small town, there is an ancient villa at the end of a deserted street. This house has been abandoned for decades. No one dares to go near it because of the strange rumors surrounding it. It is said that every night the light from the windows of the house lights up, even though no one lives there. But tonight everything will change. Min and Ho are best friends since college. After many years apart, they decided to visit the place where they used to live and try a game they heard from their old friends. The game was not fun at all. It was a test of courage. Enter the abandoned villa at midnight and see what would happen. That night, they stood in front of the villa. The moon was just a faint streak of light in the cloudy sky. The bitter winter cold made both of them hesitate, but neither of them dared to speak up. "Do you see anything strange?" Hoa asked, her voice choked. "No, but I also feel something is wrong," Min replied, his eyes fixed on the rusty iron gate, not leaving the house. Suddenly, the gate opened as if someone was waiting for them. The two of them did not say anything, but the atmosphere around them suddenly became tense. They stepped inside, and everything immediately fell into an eerie silence. They could clearly hear their hearts pounding in their chests. The house was very old. Broken paintings hung loosely on the walls. The dim light of the lamp was only enough to illuminate a small part of the room. They moved silently through the living room, walked along the long hallway until they stopped in front of a black-painted wooden door at the end of the hallway. "This door is strange," Hoa whispered. Min just nodded. He said nothing, slowly reaching out to grasp the doorknob. As soon as the door opened, a sudden cold wind blew into Hoa's face, making her shiver. The door led to a small room with nothing inside but an old wooden table and a large mirror that had faded over time. The strange thing was that the image reflected in the mirror was not the same as the current room. Instead of an empty room, the mirror was a strange scene. A woman standing there, her dark eyes staring at them. Min and Hoa jumped back in surprise, but the woman's gaze seemed to stick to them. Suddenly, the woman in the mirror smiled, but it was not the smile of a living person. Who is she?" Hoa asked, her voice trembling. Min did not answer. He stared at the mirror, then realized something even stranger. The woman in the mirror not only stood still, but also took a step toward them, as if wanting to escape. Min turned around, but the door behind him had disappeared, replaced by a cold wall. The mirror now reflected a completely different scene, a dark room in the middle of which was a wooden coffin covered with a white cloth. Min felt a chill down his spine, unable to speak. Suddenly, the woman in the mirror spoke, her voice whispering but clear. "Save me. I can't leave without your help." A strong wind blew, and the mirror shattered into thousands of pieces. The room was immediately plunged into darkness. Min and Hoa held hands and retreated, trying to find a way out, but to no avail. From the midst of the darkness, a blurry figure appeared. It was the woman in the mirror, now standing right in front of them. Her empty eyes stared straight at them, saying nothing. Only her cold gaze seemed to be sucking them into a bottomless abyss. Min felt an invisible force pulling them closer. "Save me! Save me!" The voice rang out again, this time a scream filled with pain and misery. A loud noise rang out. The room seemed to collapse. Min and Hoa could no longer feel the ground beneath their feet. They tried to run towards the door, but were too late. When they opened their eyes, the villa had disappeared. In front of them was just a cold, empty lot. Both of them looked around, unable to understand what had just happened. The house was gone, but the cold still clung to them. In their minds, the woman's painful screams still echoed. Had they freed that soul, or had they themselves become new souls, trapped in the villa with no way out? Min and Hua both stood still, unable to explain what had just happened. The villa had disappeared, but the cold and haunting feeling still haunted them. They looked at each other, not saying a word, only feeling the uneasiness creeping into their hearts. The screams of the woman in the mirror still echoed in their ears, as if she were somewhere watching them. No one wanted to talk about that night again, but Min felt very clearly they had not truly escaped that villa. Rather, the villa had not let them go. Both of them had an inexplicable feeling, as if they were being drawn into a never-ending vortex. The next day, when Min and Hua returned to the city, everything seemed normal, but that normalcy made them feel scared. Min felt that something in the air had changed. It seemed that a part of his soul was still trapped in that villa. Hua could not sleep all night. She often woke up in the middle of the night, feeling an invisible presence standing next to her bed. She began to see blurry images in the mirror every time she looked at her face, images she could not explain. A blurry figure of a woman, her deep eyes seemed to want to pull her into another world. Min realized a clear change in Hua. She was no longer herself. She became confused, even panicked when she looked in the mirror. Everything around her seemed to lose reality. One night, when Min went to visit Hua, he found her sitting silently by the window, her lifeless eyes staring outside. "Hua, what's wrong? What are you looking at for so long?" Min asked, but Hua just looked at him with empty eyes and shook her head as if she didn't hear. Min stepped closer, but before he could say anything more, Hua suddenly turned back. Her eyes were no longer those of a friend. She's in the mirror. Does she want me to do something?" Hua's voice rang out, soft but full of panic. Min held Hua, feeling her constant trembling. He felt himself losing control, as if everything was slipping away. "Hua, what are you saying? You have to stop. You're haunted by something." "No, Min, I can't escape. I feel her near. She won't let me go," Hua struggled to say. Then suddenly she screamed and stood up. Min was terrified, but he knew he couldn't leave. They both needed to face something, find the truth to end everything. Min decided they had to go back to that villa again. They both returned to the old road, but this time the villa was no longer the same. It was still there, but there was a clear change. The facade of the house was cracked, and a layer of mist covered the whole house, as if it was waiting for them to return. Everything around was silent, no sound, no sign of life, but Min felt a clear presence, as if the house was alive and watching them. This time the door was not open. Min had to push it hard, as if the house did not want them to enter. When they entered, everything became blurry. An extreme cold spread. They headed straight for the room with the mirror. But this time, the mirror did not reflect their image anymore. Instead, inside was just a silhouette standing. It was that woman. But this time, she wasn't looking at them, but at someone else. "Min," she smiled. That smile was even more monstrous than the last time. Hua said in utter confusion. "Min, she knows you." Min couldn't move, but in that moment, he understood something horrifying. The woman in the mirror didn't just want their help, she wanted to control them, and Min had unwittingly become a part of this game, unable to escape. Suddenly, the mirror shattered into pieces. Everything was pitch black. Min and Hua could no longer see anything, only a voice echoed in the darkness. The woman's voice. "It's too late, you will never escape from here." Min and Hua stood frozen in the darkness, feeling each heavy breath. The pieces of the mirror flew everywhere, but no sound was emitted. The cold and silent space enveloped them. A cold wind blew past, making Min shiver. He felt as if someone was standing close to him, as if the woman's cold eyes were watching them. An indescribable feeling, as if her soul was haunting him. "Let me go. I can't stand here forever," Hua whispered, her voice trembling, as if she was struggling with an invisible force that couldn't escape. Min tried to regain his composure, but a strong pull from behind made him turn around. A secret door had just opened behind the broken mirror. It was no longer an abandoned house like before, but a different space. A dark place, like in a hazy dream. With no time to think, Min grabbed Hua's hand and pulled her towards the door. But each step made the space heavier. The The closer she got to the door, the greater the resistance, as if the villa was resisting. "Run, Min, run!" Hua screamed, panicking. She felt something tightening, pulling her closer to the shadows. Mine didn't dare to turn back. His heart felt like it was about to explode. He pulled Hoa and ran straight into the door. Both of them fell down a dark, endless path. They seemed to fall into an endless black hole, unable to stop, unable to escape. Space shattered. When Min raised his head, he saw that he and Hoa were no longer in the villa. They were standing on a deserted field with no sign of life. The sky was no longer bright. Black clouds swirled in the sky. In the distance was a large grave. On the tombstone was engraved a name Min had never heard before. "Oh, what is this?" Min asked, but no one answered. Hoa stood still, her eyes empty, as if she were no longer herself. She walked towards the grave, not saying a word. Min hurried after her, but as soon as he got closer, a voice rang out from the darkness, as if coming from the grave. "You cannot escape. You will become a part of me, forever." A strong wind blew through. The entire field became so dark that nothing could be seen. Min felt as if something was squeezing his heart, pulling him into an endless nightmare. At that moment, Hoa turned around. Her eyes were no longer hopeless. "Min, she is me," Hoa whispered, her voice hoarse. "I am dead, and I cannot be released." Min couldn't believe what he was hearing. He backed away but couldn't get out. The tomb opened. From it, a woman stepped out, a reflection of Hoa, but not the Hoa he knew. "Do you understand now? I've been trapped here for a long time, and now I've found a replacement. You'll stay here forever." The cold voice echoed, no longer resembling Hoa. A chill swept over Min. And just when he thought there was no way out, everything suddenly went silent. Min opened his eyes. He and Hoa were back in the room in the mansion. But now the house was no longer abandoned. It was lit by a strange, dim light, not from the sun, as if reflected from another world. The two of them were no longer themselves. They were part of the house, part of the souls that could not be released. From now on, they will forever be a part of this nightmare. Min looked at Hoa. She stood still. Her eyes were lit by an uncontrollable energy, cold and empty. He called her name, but only an endless echo echoed back, as if his voice no longer existed. "She's Gek." Hoa spoke, but her voice was no longer the voice of her best friend. "I'm a part of this house now. Like all the other souls, you can't escape." Min felt every bit of his reason being drowned in the fog and cold winds. He tried to step closer to Hoa, but an invisible force pulled him back. "No, it can't be! Hoa, you're not like this!" Min choked. The mansion changed again. The wall in front of Min broke, revealing an ancient door. It emitted a strange light, as if calling him closer. Min felt a strong urge, no longer afraid, only curious and eager to know the truth behind everything. He walked towards the door, leaving Hoa standing silently, her eyes staring blankly at him. When Min opened the door, he stepped into a vast space. No longer the villa. Instead, it was a vast, desolate field covered in thick fog. Below him were old, dilapidated graves with names that had faded over time. The smell of earth and darkness permeated the space, and in the middle of that space, a figure stood waiting. Min walked towards the figure, a feeling of tension rising in his heart. As he got closer, he realized it was a man, his face pensive, his eyes filled with sadness and despair. The man said nothing, just silently pointed at the surrounding graves. "This is where the souls are trapped," the man said coldly. "Your mansion is just a trap, a door to this place, and the souls here will never be released. You will become a part of it." Min couldn't speak. He felt like he had been drawn into a game he could no longer control. Everyone around him, from Hoa to the souls they had met, was trapped in an endless loop. In that moment, a painful truth flashed through Min's mind. He couldn't leave. He had become a part of this mansion, a part of the souls that could not be released. Min stood still. He saw Hoa walk past him, not even looking at him. She walked toward a grave and bent down as if searching for something. "She's looking for herself," the man said, his eyes sad. "She's dead, and now you can only live forever in the memories of this house." Min looked at Hoa, his heart empty. He couldn't save her, nor could he save himself. But then he realized the souls here weren't demons. They were just victims, trapped, manipulated by forces they couldn't understand. And the mansion was the cage that held them, a place they could never leave. Min felt like he was drifting in a mental storm, being pulled toward an invisible hole. Everything in the mansion, images, sounds, was now blurred, unclear whether it was real or a dream. Hoa, his best friend, was still before him, but she was no longer the Hoa he had known. She was a trapped soul. Her voice echoed as if coming from a distant world. "We will never get out again." Min turned to look at her, full of fear. "No, Hoa, it can't be. We will get out of here. You have to help me. You were a part of this place, but not all of it." Hoa turned away. Her eyes were strangely bright, but not the light of hope. "We are all trapped souls," she whispered. "This mansion holds not only our bodies, but also our indelible memories." Min clenched his fists. He couldn't accept it. He couldn't give up. "Is there any way to escape? Is there any way to break this cycle?" he asked the man next to the grave. The man was silent for a long time before slowly replying. "There is only one way, but it is very dangerous. This mansion and the trapped souls will never be released unless there is a great sacrifice, something that none of you are willing to do." A cold chill ran down Min's spine. He didn't want to hear more, but he still asked, "What sacrifice?" The man pointed to the grave in front of him and said, "This mansion was built from souls who have not completed their mission. To break the curse, one soul must stay behind, carrying the memories of all the other souls and becoming the gatekeeper. The price to pay is freedom." Min was stunned. He understood that to save everyone, one must accept being trapped forever. At that moment, Hoa turned back. Her eyes sparkled with a strange light. "Min, I'm ready." Her voice was stronger than ever. "I know I can't escape, but if I can free the other souls, I will. This is the only thing I can do." "No, Hoa, you can't. We'll find another way." But Hoa only smiled, a smile that was neither sad nor happy. "Min, I've lived here for too long. I know what's coming. I can't run away forever. If no one does this, we'll be trapped forever." Min was silent. He wanted to save her, but perhaps there were souls that couldn't be saved, and Hoa had chosen her path. She walked toward the grave. As she placed her hand on it, a cold wind blew, surrounding her as if welcoming the sacrifice. "Forgive yourself, Min. Live and remember yourself." Then she melted into the darkness. A powerful light burst from the grave, covering the entire field. Min was pushed back, helpless. The surrounding souls seemed to be freed, but the price was too great. As the light faded, Min stood alone in the silent space. The villa was no more. The souls were freed. And now only Min remained, the last person in the loop. He turned back. No more flowers, no more grave, nothing. Just an endless void, as if he had stepped out of time and space. Min understood. He could not leave, and he could not live like before. He had become a part of the villa, and now he is the gatekeeper, guarding the memories of the souls who were trapped here forever.